So recent rumors have said that LEGO is currently working on, for release in 2025, a $1,000 Death Star. And I want to take this as the opportunity to throw my hat into the ring and see what we can expect, or at least what I'm predicting we can expect, from the minifigures to the build to even the GWP that will be included with it. To start with the build. For the build, I'm thinking it's going to be kind of like a mix of what we've seen with the Death Star from 2008 and 2016, where it will have a full interior. I think if they don't do an interior, they're absolutely insane. But I think it will at the same time also have, I believe it's the, 2003, that Death Star 2 type of casing around it, where you can have it as just the orb. I think they're going to be removable. I would be shocked if for $1,000 they really try to sell a Death Star that has no interior. I think an interior is necessary. If it doesn't have an interior, this might be the worst selling set of all time in LEGO history. I've heard a lot of people talk about whether they think it is the Death Star 1 or 2. I am going to throw my hat into the ring and say I think it is both. What I think they're going to do is, so I think, I'll have all this out in a diagram later, but I think that it will have the Death Star like this, where you can have it, and you can face it forward, and you can see the laser and all stuff like that, but the back of it, where you can look at the interior, will have the, greebling and the half-finishedness of the Death Star 2, with the idea being that if you want it to be a Death Star 2, you can put it sideways and you can see all the half stuff. But if you want it to be the Death Star 1, you can just face it forward, not see any of that. And also, that would be how you access the interior. Whether that's plausible, I don't know. It might be kind of hard to reach in there. But, I think that'd be kind of a neat idea. Not really sure. As for pieces, I think this is for certain gonna have the most amount of pieces. It's gonna have the most amount of pieces and the most amount of minifigures in history. I'm gonna go back more into the minifigures later in the video, but I'm looking at it as this is going to be news publications are gonna be talking about this. You're gonna see on Good Morning America, they're gonna talk about it when it's announced. You're gonna see BuzzFeed, Dextero, all of the media outlets are gonna do some sort of little puff piece on it. And if they don't make it the biggest by both minifigure and piece count, I think you will see people use this as an opportunity in the media to talk about the ever-increasing price of Legos. Because, it's not really just a Lego community thing that people are realizing that Legos are getting more and more expensive. Parents that are buying Legos for their kids are also noticing this. And I think that $1,000 would be the perfect opportunity to go, okay, we gotta hold back a bit. We gotta re-examine this. And if they don't provide value on that by making it the biggest of every metric by a good margin, I think they're really gonna be shooting themselves in the foot here, media-wise. But just overall thoughts, I think for the build, you're gonna see it's probably gonna be 1.5 times, maybe even 2 times the size of the 2016 Death Star. I think you're gonna have a casing around it, so you can display it either interior. I think it almost might be opening up. It might be like a hinge thing. It might not be just panels that are on like that. It might be included in the actual thing, So I think it's the panels, and I think it is the size is going to be much bigger, and I think piece count, I'm going to make a bold estimate of 15,000 pieces. That's just my guess. Alright, and now as far as minifigures go, this set is going to obviously have the most amount of minifigures of any set ever. I am going to predict the amount of minifigures. I'm going to say 77 minifigures. Now that does sound like a lot, but you figure the Avengers Tower, that was half the price, had 31. So, times that by 262, that's not that crazy for $1,000. I mean, you also have to figure that unlike, the Marvel ones, Star Wars minifigures lend themselves to being much more, able to have multiples in it, you're gonna have multiple stormtroopers, multiple Death Star works, multiple gunners, you're gonna have so many multiples in that set that I think you'd be able to get to 77. But also why I think 77 specifically is 1977. That seems like that'd be a cute kind of thing that Lego likes to do, to have these cute little Easter eggs in it. And and I think also because they'll consider a droid a minifigure. They're gonna count they're gonna have 2 or 3 mouth droids in there probably, and they're gonna call that 3 minifigures. That's not really 3 minifigures, but technically it is. Anyways, of the actual minifigures that we're having, I have a list here. I have them divided into 3 categories. Ones that will be in there with 100% certainty. If they're not in there, it's all bets are off. Ones that I think might be in there. If they're trying to figure out what to put in, I think they might have to add a couple of these. And also, ones that are just Hail Marys. Ones that I don't think they're going to do, but I think would be funny and would be received well within the community. Oh, also, if I didn't say it specifically, but if they do the standard UCS thing of doing 2 minifigures, if they do just Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, also that's over. Nobody's buying it if you get 2 minifigures in that. People are spending $1,000 for this. They're wanting it to be like a playset with minifigures. Anyways, here are the ones that I think are 100% certainly going to be in it: Farm Boy Luke, Jedi Knight Luke, Stormtrooper Luke, Han Solo, Stormtrooper Han Solo, Princess Leia, Ben Kenobi, alive. I'm going to expand on that later. R2-D2, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Grand Moff Tarkin, Imperial officers. I think there is going to be 4 of them. I think we had 2 in the last one, so I'm, for this, kind of figuring, oh, they're probably going to double it, you know? Those look really good when you fill them out, you know, especially in the conference room. They look really good when you have them there. So my guess, there's going to be 4. Mouse droids, I think there's going to be 2. I don't think they're going to have that many. Stormtroopers, I think there's going to be 6 Stormtroopers. I think that, you know, there's going to be so many points within the Death Star that you're going to want to have Stormtroopers, like, acting out a scene or something like that in there. You know, like the one where Han Solo walks into the room of all the Stormtroopers, the ones where it's the 2 on the rope swing with Leia and Luke. I think 6 is a fair amount that I think most people would be like, this is a good amount, you know, because everybody has Stormtroopers, you know. They're probably going to have a Stormtrooper battle pack go along around the same time, either that or some sort of Imperial battle pack. But I think 6 is a good amount where I would feel like I'm not getting ripped off. Royal Guards, I think there's going to be 2, obviously. They always have 2 Royal Guards. An Interrogation Droid. Imperial Gunners, I think there's going to be 2 of them. We had them in the last one. I would be shocked if they were removed. Death Star Troopers, I also think there's still going to be 2. I don't really think you need that many more than 2. And now here are ones that I think might be in it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't, but I also wouldn't be too surprised if they were. First one is Pilot Luke. I was thinking about it, like, what are they going to do on this big of a scale that's different than the other Death Star? I think they're going to have some sort of little trench run kind of part of it. And I think in that, they're going to have, kind of like if you look in the old Death Stars, or even in the Avengers Tower, they have the, like, tiny little minifigure scale Quinjet and the tiny little minifigure scale TIE Fighters. I think they're going to do something like that, where they're going to have... I don't know how big this is, and I don't know how good it would look. It would probably look way too big, but, you know, whatever. I think they might have a tiny little, like, X-Wing, a tiny little TIE Fighter, maybe. So yeah, I think they're going to have that. They're going to have Pilot Luke, Wedge Antilles. He's also a more of, like, I don't know, but, like, you know, like, it's kind of like, I think it could look kind of cool. You know, it might be kind of hard to make it not just have to be, like, a micro scale thing, like an advent calendar scale, but if they do it right, I think that could be the coolest part of this build, if they have some sort of trench run little part of it that you can see, but I'm worried it would look too big. But anyway, they'd have TIE Fighter. I'm going to put 2 TIE pilots, just because, you know, I was thinking maybe even for the lock-ins of, like, have one walking around in, like, a hangar or something like that would be kind of neat. Potentially something they'd do. And it also, like, fills out the roster a bit more with an easy-to-make figure that they've already made, you know, multiple of. They have a modern one that they can just pull that, instantly put it in. I think they're going to have 2 of them, one to pilot the TIE Fighter and one to have walking around, because they might have 1 TIE Fighter. I don't think they're doing 2 X-Wings. I think it's just going to be 1 and 1, because that would be a massive part of the build to have. Anyways, to continue on, a second R2-D2 to have in the X-Wing in the trench run, potentially. I don't know. Stormtrooper Commander, I was just trying to think of, like, what stuff can they have, and I think that this is what Lego is probably going to look as, like, what kind of figures would people want that would make sense? Kind of with the Avengers Tower, they put figure that don't really make that much sense to be there, you know, but are figure that people wanted. But yeah, I think they're going to have a Stormtrooper Commander, kind of like the one we saw in the Mandalorian troop transport thing a couple years ago. The one with, like, the yellow stripe. I think also Lando Calrissian, potentially. Because, again, if they want to do the Death Star with the trench run, you could also do some sort of, maybe a little bit easier for the Death Star 2. Maybe not. That might be actually kind of harder to do now that I think about it. Of, like, a little Millennium Falcon, probably couldn't actually work. Because, like, the way I'm thinking, the X-Wing has to be done with, like, microfighter scale, and that'd be very hard to fit a Lando figure in it. But, I don't know. Lando Calrissian, just because, you know, he's a beloved character, and I would be, you know, kind of like, maybe they'd do it. Same way, 9 Nub. This 9 Nub is the reason why I think they would have Lando Calrissian in it, because they just made, for the 25th anniversary, that new 9 Nub mold, and I would be bewildered if they only are using that for one. I don't think it's going to be the same 9 Nub. I think it's going to be a different, like, outfit or something like that. but he's the reason that I think there might be a Lando Calrissian. And also, people wouldn't complain about a Lando Calrissian. When was the last time we got a Lando Calrissian? Like, what, 2020? You know, like a not old or a not, like, 20th anniversary one? It was, like, what, 2020 or so in the Cloud City set? There's gonna be that, a Gonk droid. I think they're gonna do a Gonk droid just because it's easy to do. It's like, you could do a sticker or, like, a printed piece or whatever. You don't need to do it, and you can count it as a minifigure, and everybody loved the Gonk droid. It's like a meme. You know, so I think they're going to do the Gonk droid. They included the Snowman Gonk droid in, like, the last year's Advent calendar. The Jedi Bob Starfighter had the Gonk droid. So I think they're going to do a Gonk droid. I think they're also just going to, in general, have a couple more Imperial droids, like, just like a handful. I think maybe, like, 3 or 4 or 5, you know, a bit between, like, the Protocol and the Astromechs, like, kind of like how they had in the 2016 one where they had, that, like, blue one with the see-through dome and the, like, evil C-3PO. And I think they're also just going to do a probe droid just because, like, it'd be kind of cool, you know, people like probe droids. It isn't that hard, and you can count out the minifigure. I think you're essentially going to see a lot of these, like, brick-built kind of stuff to fill out the roster because it's much cheaper than doing, like, a new printed thing. And then here are the ones that I think are going to be complete Hail Marys. If they do it, I would be so shocked. So anyways, here we go. I think Ghost Obi-Wan. I think that, you know, as we're seeing more and more, like, transparent, like, with the vision in the Avengers Tower. I'm using the Avengers Tower for a lot. It's my favorite set, if you can't tell. But the vision in that looked so good. It had the transparent legs. And I think you don't need a full transparent Ghost Obi-Wan. But I think doing the legs like that would look really good. I mean, in general, I think it's time that we get a real transparent minifigure, like, completely all throughout. I mean, we can see they've done it, you know, you see online the ones that people get from the Mexican factory and stuff like that. You can make a transparent minifigure all the way, even with printing. So I think, you know, now is time that we get a Ghost Obi-Wan, and this would be the set to do it. You know, you can do the little trench run. You don't even need to have it in the actual Death Star, like, display. You could put it on, like, the little stand that you're going to leave outside the Death Star. Also, a damaged Vader. The reason I'm saying this is I don't know what set it is, but there's some city set that's coming out in 25 that has a amputee minifigure that has, like, a half an arm, like the... I'm trying to be polite here, but like a little stump. I don't know if that's the correct word. If it is, if it's not, I'm sorry to amputees. But a little, like, stump kind of thing, and that looks kind of like Darth Vader after he gets his, what is it, like, hands or something like that chopped off in Return of the Jedi. I don't think that Lego would do that because that seemed a little bit disrespectful. Maybe, I don't know. I think they could maybe do that. Also, you know, a damaged Vader is a minifigure that everybody loved from the, like, the 2008 Starkiller one. That's not what it was, but I don't know. It would be a minifigure that people would like. That would be a good exclusive figure. It would pair well with having a Ghost Obi-Wan if you want to have, like, 2 really cool exclusive figures that you probably are never going to make again that people will really think are cool. Another Hail Mary. An Inquisitor, maybe? I don't know. I was just trying to think of stuff. I don't really know if that'll be in there. And the last one that I think maybe we could see would be another joke minifigure, kind of like the Gonk droid, Matt the Radar Technician. Alright, and finally, my thoughts on what the GWP for the set is. I'm going to go and say they've done really well with those lightsaber GWPs. I think they're going to do a Darth Vader lightsaber. That seems like the most plausible thing to me. It seems like something that wouldn't be, you know, exclusive minifigures, you know, so it wouldn't be getting a lot of people mad that are like, oh, I didn't have it on this one day or whatever. I'm never going to get Glup Shido or whatever minifigure. I think a Darth Vader lightsaber is most likely the minifigure, or the GWP that they go with. I don't really care one way or another about it, you know. You can price these out anyways, parts wise, you know, it's the only printed thing of tile, so whatever. But yeah, overall, I think this can either be really good or really bad, and I think there's going to be no in between in this. I think you're either going to see it's going to be amazing and talked about for years, or it's the biggest, like, laughing stock of Lego Star Wars. My final thought that I want to say is I think this was supposed to come out this year, and it had to get pushed back. Because, you know, 25th anniversary of Lego Star Wars, it makes a lot of sense to want to have the biggest set. You want to have it with the Rebuild the Galaxy, all the stuff that they've done this year to promote the 25th anniversary of Star Wars, to coincide with that, have this massive behemoth. But I think that there was something that got pushed along or got pushed back, maybe COVID, maybe, I don't know, that I really think they wanted it this year. And the fact that they're releasing it in October of the 26th year makes no sense to me. I think this is a set that they really wanted out this year, but they just couldn't get it done in the timeline. But anyways, yeah, this is a set that I probably won't end up buying. You know, $1,000 is a lot to spend on you know, a giant gray orb, a giant gray basketball. But I do think this will be a very cool set, and I look forward to seeing it. Any minifigures that you think I forgot, or that you think, you know, I'm crazy for adding, let me know in the comments. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.